Hi, hello students. Welcome to Let's Understand Physics. So today I'll just ask you some questions. When you are just walking, if you randomly hit some stone, do you get hurt? Or if you are running and coming and hitting the same stone, do you get hurt? In these two situations, which one will make you hurt more? The second situation, isn't it? When you're running and coming and hitting a stone will definitely make you hurt. In the same way, if two vehicles are there, if both of them are at rest, and if you just take one car and the second one is one lorry, if the car is at rest, if lorry is moving fast and hitting that, there will be a damage. In the same way, if both the car and the lorry, both of them are moving, and if both of them dash each other, hit each other, then there will be more damage for both the vehicles, isn't it? So why is this happening? In the first case also, you can observe, if you are just walking and hitting a stone, it may not hurt you. But if you are running and hitting a stone, definitely it will hurt you if the stone is at rest also. In the same way, if you are at rest, a moving stone comes and hits you also, there will be a hurt for you. Yes or no? So, why is this happening? Only when the object is moving, one of the objects or both the objects, if they are moving, there will be more damage if they are hitting each other. So I hope you understood my point. So I am telling there is some object. When I say there is some object, definitely the object will have certain mass. Object, if I am telling some object, it has mass. And I am telling object is moving. So mass is in motion. Mass is moving, mass is in motion. Okay. Newton says mass in motion. So this mass in motion is called as momentum. Momentum. The definition of momentum is the quantity of motion contained in a body. The quantity of motion contained in a body. So here what we are telling? We are telling there is a body and it is moving. It is moving means definitely it has certain velocity. Yes or no? For example, you just take two blocks of same material, wood or iron or steel, anything you take, same material, and one is small block and the other one is big block. You can take two stones also, your wish. I am taking this one as A and the big one as B. Two stones let us consider. So A stone has mass Ma, B has mass Mb. On both of them are at rest initially. Their velocities, initial velocity is denoted with letter small u. For both of them it is m is equal to 0 meter per second. Sorry, u is equal to 0 meter per second. On both of them you are applying same amount of force. You are applying same amount of force which is non-zero, and you are applying in the same direction as well. Then what you will observe? If you have two stones of different masses, you are applying same amount of force on both of them, then what happens? What you generally observe? The smaller mass will move with more velocity, isn't it? The smaller mass will move with more velocity and the larger mass will move with less velocity. This you can practically observe. Yes or no? Now in this case, you have same amount of force and applied on the two bodies in the same direction. Mass A is moving with more velocity. Let us take, after applying force, initially the velocity u is equal to 0. After applying, it has become VA. After applying velocity for B, it has become VB. Now, if these two are coming and hitting a person, which will give you more hurt? Which will give you more hurt? Let us understand about that later. Now, this object which is in motion, we have called the physical quantity. The term what we are calling it in physics is momentum. The mathematical expression or denotation for momentum is P. With the letter P we denote momentum, and the mathematical expression, I will write momentum also. Momentum is denoted with letter P is equal to what we have discussed here, mass of the object and its velocity. Yes or no? Mass into velocity. So mass is denoted with letter small m, velocity is v, final velocity we generally consider. So P is equal to mv. Velocity is a vector quantity, so momentum is also vector quantity, and momentum is in the direction of final velocity. So we'll write SI unit and CGS unit. SI unit of momentum. So for mass, what is SI unit? kg. For velocity, meter per second. So SI unit of momentum is kg meter per second. CGS unit, for mass it is gram, for velocity it is centimeter per second. Okay, understood? So momentum definition is the quantity of motion contained in a body, and it is denoted with letter P. So momentum is equal to mass into velocity, mathematical expression. P bar is equal to mv bar. Bar indicates it is a vector quantity, and the momentum is in the direction of final velocity. Our velocity also you can say, our change in velocity also you can say. Because there is change in velocity. Initially what did I say? The velocity of the object is 0 meter per second. Instead of that, you can take any velocity. Both of them are moving at 5 meter per second also you can say. And when they are moving at 5 meter per second, when you apply force in the same direction, both of them will have change in velocity. So here when they are force applied on them, what is happening? Acceleration. What is happening? Both of them will start accelerating. Yes or no? This is what in Newton's first law we have learnt. When a body which is at rest or in uniform motion, if there is a force which is non-zero and resultant force acts on the body starts accelerating. When there is acceleration, there is change in velocity. So in these two, which has more mass, its acceleration is less. Which has less mass, its acceleration is more. Now I'll just consider same. I'm just taking mass of some object MA. It has initial velocity u. When force is applied on a body, definitely the velocity will increase. So the velocity of the body has become v, but mass will not change. Mass is a constant quantity here. So ma, after some time also mass will be same. But what is changed? At this position, before applying force, momentum of the body is equal to that momentum before applying force. That's why I am writing it as initial momentum. I'll write Pi bar is equal to M A U bar, or you can simply take M also, no problem, because we have only one body. Next, final momentum. Final momentum means after applying force on the body, this is the final momentum. Pf bar will be equal to mv bar. I hope all of you understood this. There is mass and it is moving with initial velocity u, non-zero initial velocity. It is already moving. You want to increase the speed, so that what you are doing, you are applying force on it. If you have any vehicle also or toys also, generally what you will do if some ball is moving, you know, right? If you are playing with ball also, you know, if it is moving with more speed, then you will get more hurt. If it is coming and hitting you, you will get more hurt compared to if it is moving with less speed. So here I have taken ball, it is moving already with some speed. You want to increase the speed of the ball, so that what you are doing, you are applying force on it, so that its velocity has increased to v. So initially its momentum Pi is equal to m into u dash, final momentum Pf is equal to m into v dash. So what is change in momentum? Change in momentum. Change means what? Final momentum minus initial momentum. So substitute final momentum is mv bar minus initial momentum is mu bar. Understood? Change in momentum. So for example, if you have written some exam, after correcting the papers, teacher will give you the paper, so that you got marks for 25, some 20 marks. After counting, there is a counting mistake, so that you got 22 marks. You will go and ask your teacher, there is change in the mark. Yes or no? So your teacher will ask how much change. You will say 2 marks, because your final mark is 22 and the mark what you got is 20. So how do you get that 2 mark? By simply subtracting. So whenever you have change, you have to subtract. Even the same way, if you go to shop to buy anything, if you give 10 rupees, you have purchased 5 rupee chocolate, how much change you will get? 5 rupees, because same final value minus initial value, if you do, you will get the value change. Understood? So this is change in momentum. Next, this change is going to happen in certain time. Yes or no? This change is going to happen in some interval of time, definitely. So when you are dividing the physical quantity with time, we call it as rate. So rate of change of momentum, or rate of change in momentum, is equal to change in momentum. Change is generally denoted with letter delta. Delta P bar is equal to m v bar minus m u bar by t. So remember, rate means dividing the physical quantity with time. Wherever you have with respect to time, you can say its definition as rate. Okay. Now delta P by T is equal to mv bar minus mu bar by T. Now delta P bar by T is equal to, I'll take here m common, because m is mass which is constant, v bar minus u bar by T So this rate of change in momentum, why you got this rate of change of momentum? It is because of force acting on the body. This force you are applying, due to that force you are getting this rate of change in momentum, delta P by delta T. So how do you get change in momentum? That is only due to force. If you are applying more force, you will have more change in momentum. If you are applying less force, you will have less rate of change in momentum. Okay, so F is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. This is Newton's second law. So Newton's second law definition is the force applied on the object, is directly proportional to the rate of change in momentum. So this is what examples you have learnt in this case. So here, after applying force, the velocity is changing. So if you are applying 5 Newton force, there will be velocity like 5 meter per second. If you are applying 10 Newton force on this, if for example 1 meter per second initial velocity, if you are applying 5 Newton, it has become 5 meter per second. If you are applying 10 Newton, proportionally the velocity will increase. Even the velocity will become 10 meter per second. Directly proportional. What do you mean by directly proportional? If one quantity is increasing, the other quantity also should increase. Here there are two quantities we are comparing. One is force and the other one is change in momentum. Rate of change of momentum. When force is increased, rate of change of momentum also increases. In the same way, you can just take, for example, if you are buying 5 mangoes for 100 rupees, 5 mangoes for 100 rupees, 10 mangoes cost will be 200 rupees, isn't it? So here mangoes also increased, means number of mangoes also increased. In the same way the cost also increases. So this is directly proportionality. If inversely proportionality means if one quantity increases, the other quantity will decrease. So this is directly proportional. I will give you example here itself for inversely proportional also. Remember this, very very important. Inversely proportional means, example, if 5 persons does a work in one day, 5 persons does a work in one day, if you have 10 persons of same ability, they are able to complete the work in half day. Yes or no? 5 persons, if they are doing the work in one day, 10 persons of the same ability, they will complete in half day itself. So see here, if one quantity is increasing, the other quantity is decreasing. So this is inversely proportional. I hope both the directly and indirect proportionals you understood. Now here, as you are applying force, proportionately there is rate of change in momentum. So F is proportional to m of V bar minus U bar by T. So F is proportional to, we know acceleration is equal to change in velocity by time. We already learnt in motion chapter, a bar is equal to v bar minus u bar by t. So in place of this v bar minus u bar by t, I am writing a. So to remove this proportionality, we just need to write one proportionality constant. I am writing it as k. Okay. So F is equal to kma. So here k is equal to 1 from the definition of force. You can simply write F is equal to ma. So force, what is force? It is a physical quantity. Force is a physical quantity which changes or tries to change, the state of the body. Force is a physical quantity which changes or tries to change the state of the body. The state can be rest to motion or motion to rest. That means if the object is moving, it can stop. If the object is at rest, it can move. If the object is moving in one direction, it can make the object to turn its direction in the same way. It can change the size of the body, shape of the body. So all these things are done by force. So SI unit of force we will derive from this. SI unit for mass, it is kg. For acceleration, meter per second square. So SI unit of force is kg meter per second square. Or simply you can write Newton. When you are writing full name, you should write all the letters small. If you are writing the symbol, only the first letter capital you have to write. CGS unit, for mass it is gram. For acceleration, centimeter per second square. Or you can write dyne. Okay. Now 1 Newton definition is also very important. 1 Newton. How do you define 1 Newton force? So when 1 kg of mass, if you have mass of the body 1 kg and acceleration developed is 1 meter per second square, then the force applied on the body is 1 Newton. So when 1 Newton force is applied on a body which is having mass 1 kg, then acceleration produced is 1 meter per second square. Acceleration produced is 1 meter per second square. So this is what happens, but while writing the definition, you are not supposed to start when 1 Newton force is applied. You have to write a body which has mass 1 kg and the acceleration produced is 1 meter per second square, then the force applied by the body or force applied on the body is 1 Newton. Okay, dyne also same, you just need to change. Mass is 1 gram and acceleration produced is 1 centimeter per second square. So with this definition, you will take the constant value k is equal to 1. Okay, understood? So 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg into 1 meter per second square. So this is the value. So I hope you got some idea on momentum as well as Newton's second law and force. So from this you can derive Newton's first law and Newton's second law relation that we will see in the next video. Okay, and Newton's third law also we will learn together, and there is principle of momentum also, law of conservation of momentum also we will learn in the next video. Thank you. So for more concepts, please like, share and subscribe. So share with your friends and your relatives, those who are studying in high school. Even these concepts will be helpful for +1 and +2 also. So you can share with your family and friends. Thank you so much.